You've probably heard it said that you can't burn fat and build muscle at the same time. Pick one. Bulk or cut. That's the conventional wisdom, and it's been repeated in gyms for decades. But that's not what the peer-reviewed science shows. Research has found that under the right conditions, your body can absolutely do both. And most people are in the exact situation where this becomes possible. A 2020 review published in the Strength and Conditioning Journal analyzed decades of body recomposition studies and concluded, simultaneous muscle gain and fat loss is achievable, particularly in individuals who are untrained, detrained, or have higher body fat. That covers most of us. The catch is that the conditions have to be right, and most people miss at least one of them. The science of body recomposition, losing fat while gaining muscle at the same time, has been studied extensively over the past 2 decades. Multiple peer-reviewed trials have confirmed it's real, measurable, and achievable without drugs. In this video, we are going to see who can achieve it, what the biological mechanism is, and exactly which variables the research says are non-negotiable. The traditional advice says bulking and cutting must be separate phases because building muscle requires a caloric surplus, while losing fat requires a deficit. You can't be in both states at once. That logic sounds airtight, but it misunderstands how energy is actually managed inside the body. Your fat stores are a form of stored energy, and research shows that energy can be used to fuel muscle protein synthesis, even when you're not eating above maintenance. The people most likely to fail at recomposition are those who get the protein wrong. Most people trying to lose weight drastically cut food intake without prioritizing protein. And without adequate protein, your body has no raw material for muscle synthesis, even if you're training hard. A 2014 meta-analysis found that protein needs actually increase during caloric restriction, not decrease. Restricting protein while restricting calories is a double failure. Who benefits most from recomposition? Research consistently identifies 3 groups. First, beginners who have never trained with weights. Their muscles respond dramatically to any resistant stimulus. Second, people who were once fit but stopped training. Muscle memory allows faster regrowth. Third, anyone with a higher body fat percentage. They have more stored energy available to fuel muscle building. If you're in any of these groups, your window is wide open. A trial by Murphy and Koehler published in 2022 examined muscle protein synthesis rates in participants eating at a caloric deficit with high protein intake paired with resistance training. Results were clear. Muscle protein synthesis remained elevated even in a deficit, as long as protein hit the target threshold and training provided a progressive overload stimulus. The body was pulling energy from fat stores to fund muscle building. That's recomposition in a lab setting. The protein number that research consistently lands on is between 1.6 and 2.4 grams per kilogram of body weight per day during a recomposition phase. For a 180-pound person, that's roughly 130 to 196 grams of protein daily. Most people eating a standard Western diet get less than half that. Studies show that distributing this protein across 4 to 5 meals maximizes the muscle protein synthesis signal throughout the day rather than concentrating it in 1 or 2 feedings. Training type matters enormously. Studies comparing cardio-only versus resistance plus cardio protocols during a caloric deficit show dramatically different outcomes. Cardio alone produces fat loss, but also significant muscle loss. Resistance training paired with cardio preserves and builds muscle while fat is lost. The resistance training sends an anabolic signal that tells the body, keep this muscle, we need it. Without that signal, the deficit eats muscle as readily as it eats fat. The caloric deficit range that research supports for recomposition is narrower than most expect. Too large a deficit, more than 500 calories below maintenance, triggers muscle catabolism and blunts anabolic signaling. Too small a deficit produces negligible fat loss. Studies point to a sweet spot of 200 to 350 calories below maintenance. This keeps fat mobilization active while preserving the anabolic conditions needed for muscle protein synthesis. It's a precision target, not a general direction. The recomposition framework that research supports has 4 pillars. First, a moderate caloric deficit of 200 to 350 calories. Second, high protein intake at 1.6 to 2.4 grams per kilogram of body weight. Third, progressive resistance training at least 3 times per week, prioritizing compound movements. Fourth, adequate sleep. Studies show that sleep deprivation diverts muscle protein synthesis away from muscle and toward repair of other tissues, completely undermining the other 3 pillars. The recomposition process isn't linear. Research shows distinct phases of adaptation. In the first 4 weeks, you'll likely see the scale barely move, but body composition is changing underneath. Fat is dropping and muscle is growing in roughly equal measure. By weeks 4 through 8, the changes become visible and measurable with body fat assessment. After 12 weeks, the divergence between muscle mass gained and fat lost becomes statistically significant in most study populations. Practical steps the research supports. Calculate your total daily energy expenditure using a validated equation and subtract 250 calories to establish your target intake. Hit your protein goal by anchoring each meal around a protein source: eggs, chicken, fish, Greek yogurt, legumes. Train with weights at least 3 days per week, focusing on compound movements: squats, deadlifts, rows, and presses. Don't fear carbohydrates. They fuel performance and spare protein for muscle building. The research also gives a specific if-then logic for common recomposition problems. If the scale isn't moving after 3 weeks, then don't panic. Measure body fat, not just weight. If you're losing strength in the gym, then your deficit is too large or protein is too low. Adjust one variable at a time. If progress is stalled completely after 12 weeks, then you've likely transitioned out of beginner status and need a dedicated bulk or cut phase 2. The research is clear. Burning fat and building muscle at the same time is real, it's measurable, and it's achievable for most people starting or returning to training. The variables that make or break it are protein intake, training stimulus, caloric deficit size, and sleep quality. Miss one and the others underperform. Get all 4 right, and your body does exactly what the studies show. It rebuilds itself from the inside out, using stored fat as fuel for new. MedBrief Today exists to cut through the noise and give you research that actually applies to your life. If you want to keep building a clearer picture of how your body really works, stick around. There's a lot more coming. If today's video helped clarify something, share it with someone who needs it. Most people never see research summarized this clearly. That's exactly what this channel is here to do.